Welcome back to our series of learning Azure networking services. In this series, we are learning Azure networking services and we are writing those services with the help of infrastructure as a code in Terraform. Our objective is to learn the concept of those networking services first and then try to understand how do we write our own automation code with the help of Terraform. We are currently here in episode number 3, and in this episode we are going to discuss virtual network peering. Before I start, just a quick recap about our previous 2 episodes. In our previous 2 episodes, we have learned how do we create virtual networks, one or many. Of course, we have converted those into Terraform code. We have written the Terraform code for the virtual network. And then we have also, in the second episode, we have learned what is the network security group and how do we apply the network security group onto the virtual network. Now to start this session, as we proceed, we are going to learn about the virtual network peering. So before we start, I would like to request you to subscribe to the channel. Before I begin the discussion, my humble request to subscribe the channel if you haven't already and share with your friends and colleagues in the circle. This will help us to broadcast our channel to the wider range, and this way we get a better feedback that will help us to improve in future videos or future contents which we are going to deliver it to you. Now let's discuss about this service. In this service, first of all, we are going to discuss what is virtual network peering. So let's go back to Azure portal. Here on my Azure portal, I have this virtual network resource group which I have created with the same Terraform code which we have used in the previous section. I have 2 different virtual network created. There is a virtual network called Hub and a virtual network called Management. So we have Hub and the Management network. Now, as we know that virtual network in Azure is the private network. So by default, any resources created in these virtual networks or any subnet, obviously you create a virtual network and then you create the subnet on those virtual networks, and then once you have the different virtual network and subnet created, you provision the service on those virtual network. And now we have 2 different virtual network and we would like to set up a communication between these 2 networks. So how do we set up a communication between these 2 networks? That is the question number 1. And other question could be, I have this virtual network and let's say I have one virtual network hub and I would like to set up communication with this hub virtual network with my on-premise network. So how do I do that? In order to do this kind of a communication, obviously you need to have some sort of a communication setup, communication topology setup, and that is which we are calling the virtual network peering or the network peering in short. So if I go to virtual network and check these settings, inside the setting you have the address space, subnet, and similarly you have the peerings as well, right? So here in the peering, you can add the peering from this virtual network to any of the target virtual network. So if I click on add, then I need to provide the name of the peering. So let's say I call from hub to MGT management. And here it is asking some of the questions which I need to specify. So it says traffic to the remote virtual network, whether I would like to allow traffic to remote network or not. Obviously I'm setting a peering, so I would like to set up the traffic, so I'll leave it as is. Forward it to a remote virtual network, traffic forwarding to a remote network. So any communication which is coming from this particular network, would I be interested to send the traffic or forward the traffic from this network to other network? Yes, in this case, yes, I would like to forward the traffic. And the third question which is being asked here is network gateway or the route server. It's about if you are setting up any gateway communication between the networks, then this is what this particular question is going to be used for. So obviously we need to have a virtual network gateway to enable this particular communication, and that's the reason this particular option is disabled at the moment. So we'll leave it as is. Now remote virtual network, and you can see that the peering between the hub network and the management network is being set up. And if I go back to the target network, which is my management network, I'm in the management network. I'll go to the peering. I'll just see that if the peering is available. This is what it is, and this is how you set up the peering. Now our next part, I hope this is clear. So now any communication which you would like to set up between these two networks, it's already there. Now let's go to the next part of our series, which is how do we terraform this particular configuration. At the moment we have configured it with the help of the manual configuration. I'll just remove our manual configuration and then we'll move to the Terraform configuration. So I'll go and remove it from both the side, because when you add it, it adds to both the side, but when you delete it, you need to go and delete from both the end. Okay, so this has been deleted. Now if I go to the Terraform website, search for network peering, this is what the resource type is available for peering the between the networks. So this is what I need to use. If you look at the peering resource, it's for one network and then second network. So basically what do you need to tell here is this is the name of the peering, and then you need to set an example like this is my resource group name, virtual network name, and the remote virtual network name. So if you would like to set up a two-way peering, then obviously you need to have a two blocks of the same thing. So I'll copy that. I'll go to our network section. Here is our network section. We are on the same repository which is already been shared with as part of this particular course. And what I'm going to do here right now is I'll just copy and paste it as is, and for this example we are going to just hard code this value. So what we are going to do, let's go to the hub. I'll copy the network name. In this case, this is my network name of network, which is this one, name of resource group, which in this case this is my network resource group name. Sorry, I have copied here, but anyways it doesn't matter, so I'll make it this one as a 2. So this is what my network virtual network ID is. So I need to get the virtual network ID for my first virtual network. So what I'm going to do here is I'll search for, this is my virtual network. So what I'm going to do, I'll copy this and then I will copy this resource. Okay, and what is our target resource name? So if I create the link between these two, I'll just comment this out just to make sure that this peering is working fine, just to save the time. I'll run my plan, and plan is going to be executed from here. If you are already following this particular series, you know that we are running all our Terraform code from this, and this is just our module. So let's see if it works, everything fine. Yep, you can see that just trying to go and try to create one network peering, and default properties are set true and false. Anytime you would like to set up these properties, you can anytime go ahead and overwrite, and you know that how do we get those values of the different properties. You get the values right from here, so you have all the information available, what those different properties are and what is the default value of those property. For example, allowed virtual network access, the property which we have seen on the portal while we were configuring through portal. So this is the description available. This is the optional property. Controls if VM in the virtual network can access the VM in the local network, and default is true. So if you don't want this to be set up, obviously the default value is true. So if you don't want this, you need to override the value and set up the value here, for example something like that. You can set up. So at the moment I'm not passing the value, it means it's using its default value, but if I would like to pass the value, I could do this something like that. All right, so similarly you can use the other properties as well. I'll just comment out as is. Now I'll run the Terraform, and let's see if it is going to run the changes, and then we'll validate the changes as is. I'll take a look at that. In the peering we don't have anything right now. Let's wait for the changes to be applied. It's creating the peering. I know this name is not too good, so just for your information, even though in our last demonstration we have changed the for the demonstration we just created one NSG, one virtual network, but now have modernized the code in much better form, wherein we are creating the virtual network and virtual network subnet dynamically. For example, any number we are expecting the collection of network to be passed on, so that you have the ability to create one or more virtual network right from here. And this is our JSON file for the development environment, wherein somebody is passing the network information in the network block, and this is our one virtual network information. This is the name of virtual network, the address and location, resource group, and these are the different subnet in the virtual network. Tagging information, this is just an input we are passing in form of JSON. And similarly I have another virtual network which is management virtual network, and then I have my NSG as well. So similarly I could pass the input of my peering right here like this, and I can set up a peering. I can show you how do we pass the peering right from here. So if I go to the network section here in the network JSON, this is my network peering. So I could specify I would like to set up a peering between this source VNet to this destination VNet, and these are the VNet peering properties I would like to have for my virtual networks. This is how you can decorate as well. I'll set up this code and share it with you on the same GitHub link which I have shared in the GitHub in the video description, so you can download the code from there. Just for the validation, our code has been deployed and completed. I'll go to the portal and review it from there. So let me refresh it, and you can see that the same peering has been connected. Last time, if you would have observed that when I did it manually, it the status was connected, but here it just initiated. The reason for that is because we have just set up a one-way pairing. We have initiated a pairing to our source virtual network, and we have specified that we would like to have a pairing to this target network. But if we go to the target network, there is nothing available in the pairing setting, and that is the reason we need this second section as well. So if you could add the second section here, which will say here we are saying our source is this and the destination is this. Similarly, if you say we need a two-way pairing, where in this other case source will be management and destination will be hub. So if we do it like that, then the two-way pairing will be connected and our resource will have the same pairing like we did it in the manual section as well. But this is just for the demonstration. You can do it in the actual scenario. You need both of them. I hope this is clear. It is very simple. So whenever you would like to have a communication setup between the virtual network, you can do it like that. Okay, thanks for watching the video. If you like, or if you have any suggestions, question, please do let me know in the comment section. If you are interested to learn any specific Azure service, please let me know in the comment section. I'll try to cover that. For now, that's it in this section. We'll see you in the next section for some more networking related concept. We'll cover it through the learning, understanding, and terraforming it at the same time. Thanks for watching it. Have a nice day.